So you've decided to step up and become a leader. In this video, we're going to talk about what your first step is as a leader and how to get started so that you can have great leadership. Let's go. When I first became a leader, I missed this crucial first step. I had been put into a leadership role and I had led some other things, but I didn't understand the principles of leadership and I didn't understand how to lead really well. And what actually ended up happening is as I stepped into this larger leadership role in this church, I actually got fired and was actually told that I wasn't a leader. It hurt. Like it sent me in a little bit of a spiral there for a while. That was over a decade ago. Since that time, I've been studying leadership. I read books about leadership, listen to audiobooks, I watch videos, I listen to podcasts, I go to conferences, I have a coach, all of these different things because I wanted to learn how to become a leader. I discovered something. If you want to become a great leader, you must first lead yourself. You see, I didn't know that when I got started. If your life is out of control, then others won't trust you. If you lack self-control, patience, wisdom, confidence, humility, and a number of other qualities, people aren't going to follow you because you're not trustworthy. If you want to become a great leader, you have to first lead yourself. How do we lead ourselves? Well, there's a couple of things that we do to become great leaders. The first thing is commit to grow intellectually. You need to follow some great leaders first. I honestly believe that some of the greatest leaders are first followers. If you want to be a great leader, you first have to be a great follower. And you need to follow some great leaders. Maybe you're already in a leadership position and you're like, well, how do I do that? Do I need to quit? Do I need to do that? No, just watch. Watch, pay attention, look at all of these things. Listen to other leaders. This is something I really enjoy doing. And you can do this from podcasts, you can go to conferences, you can read books, whatever it is. Find a couple of leaders who are really great leaders and learn all that you can from them. So some of my favorite podcasts that I listen to Carey Nieuwhof on a pretty regular basis. I also listen to Groeschel. Those guys are great leaders and they talk and have conversations with other great leaders. I'll put a link in the show notes to those podcasts so that you can check them out. The other thing you need to do if you're going to commit to grow intellectually is you have to read. You need to be reading. You need to be studying. I actually believe this. It's an old saying. It just says that leaders are readers. And I think that's true. If you want to be a leader, you need to be reading. Set a goal. How many books are you going to read this year? If you have a hard time reading, like I'll be honest, there for a while I was having problems with my eyes, and so reading would actually give me headaches. So I got into audiobooks, and I use a couple of different apps to listen to audiobooks. I listen to one primarily. It's called Scribed. It gives you access to thousands of audiobooks. It's incredible. I've also used Audible, which is from Amazon. Incredible resources, incredible. If you have a hard time reading, that's not an excuse anymore. We live in the golden age of information. You can get on, you can throw some earbuds in, throw some headphones on while you're driving, while you're working, while you're mowing the grass, and you can learn from some of the best leaders in the world. The only thing you have to do is to commit to grow intellectually. The other thing you have to do if you want to lead yourself, practice self-discipline. You have to become a disciplined person. Well, I'm just not that way. Start, okay? Make some little changes, create small habits, and then build on those later. So start with something like this, like commit to getting up early. Maybe at first it's 30 minutes earlier. That way you have time to read, or you have time to do a Bible study or a devotional or listen to a podcast. But get up a little bit earlier. Another discipline is go to bed on time. This is something I'm not real great at, if I'm honest. I like staying up. But make a commitment to go to bed on time. You'd be surprised how important sleep is to your ability to lead and create discipline in your life. Get up early and go to bed on time. The other thing you have to learn to do, you have to learn to control your emotions. This is why when you look at the Bible and it talks about the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, goodness, and self-control, all of these things are crucial and they all tie in different ways to our emotions. You have to learn to regulate your emotions if you're going to become a great leader. It takes practice and it's hard sometimes. Now, I'm not saying that it's wrong to feel anger or it's wrong to feel sadness or anything like that, but what I am saying is you have to be able to regulate those emotions. You can't, as a leader, blow up in front of somebody. I actually had a boss one time who he got so angry while we were out working that he picked up a shovel and threw it like a javelin. I lost all respect for him in that moment. You need to learn to have self-control. You need to also eat healthy. Make that kind of a commitment. Eat healthy. You'll feel better. You'll have a clearer mind. Exercise on a regular basis and then create a daily routine. These are some of the things that you can do in order for you to practice self-discipline. How do we lead ourselves? Commit to grow intellectually, practice self-discipline, and then there's one more that's really important that sometimes we overlook. You have to deal with your inner critic. Nobody is as hard on me as I am of me. I talk myself down all the time. And it's probably true with you also. We have a sense where we devalue ourselves. We've got this inner critic, and you have to learn to control those negative thoughts on that. There's a couple of great books. One is by Pastor Carey Nieuwhof that is Winning the War in Your Mind. There's another one by John Acuff called Soundtracks. Both of those are incredible. I highly recommend those, and I'll actually put a link down in the notes. You need to deal with your inner critic. Now, does that mean that inner critic is going to go away? Probably not. You'll probably always deal with that. If you can quiet it a little bit, you'll be a much healthier leader because of it. Now, once you've started doing this and you've started leading yourself well, the next thing you need to do is move slowly. You should take small steps. Don't immediately jump into trying to lead some great big organization or go and apply for some massive job or something like that. Don't do that. Take baby steps with this. Now, maybe you're already in a big leadership role. So what you can do is begin implementing these, and you'll actually begin to see improvements in the other areas of your life. It will spill over. First, deal with yourself. Lead yourself. Lead yourself. That is a big one. You have to do that. You will not be a good leader if you can't first lead yourself. Then you go to the next step, and that's where you lead your family. You have to become a leader within your family first. They're kind of the practice ground for it. That seems sometimes a little messed up, but you've got to be willing to start at home. And in fact, the Apostle Paul had this as a requirement for church leaders. He literally says this in 1 Timothy chapter 3, verses 4 and 5. When giving descriptions for leaders within the church, he says this. He says, he must manage his own household well, with all dignity, keeping his children submissive. For if someone does not know how to manage his own household, how will he care for God's church? So if you can't lead yourself and you can't lead your own household, then you can't lead. Those are the areas you have to start at. And if you'll start in those two areas, what you'll begin to see is that those things will begin to spill over into the rest of your life. They'll spill over into your job. They'll spill over into your other leadership opportunities. You first have to start at home. So only after you've worked on leading yourself and leading your family can you become a great leader. Those are the prerequisites to that. Before you can become a truly great leader, you have to learn the hardest leadership lesson that every leader must tackle. And I'm going to talk about that in this video.